What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Napalm Death, entitled Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism. This is released on Century Media Records. Yeah. Doing some different stuff this time around today. Seeing as how the next couple of months are going to be winding down, I'm going to try to throw in some additional album reviews on Fridays, just to get some different sorts of content up. And I figured, why not start today with the brand new album from Napalm Death? If you're not familiar with this band, they're based out of Birmingham, England, and honestly, this band has been around for almost 40 years, so there's really no need to go into great detail about who this band is and what they're all about. This is a very important, legendary, and crucial band within extreme metal, and in the most cases, grindcore. This is a band that helped popularize, reshape, and refine the genre. I mean, this band had some very strong early punk beginnings, but then as later time went on, we entered what would be the sound that Napalm Death is best known for with grindcore, and then later on dabbling into more death metal and grind sort of territories. I mean, of course, when you think of Napalm Death, you think of their early earache material with the Mentally Murdered EP, full-length albums such as Scum and From Enslavement to Obliteration, to the current era with their new vocalist Barney Greenway, with albums such as Utopia Banished, Harmony Corruption, Diatribes, Fear, Emptiness, Despair, the Jesse Pintado era of the band with him playing guitar and everything, just being such badass and memorable albums. And of course, this is a band that was never afraid to tackle some of the hot button issues going on in the world, whether it be anarchy, anti-fascism, politics, the whole nine yards. Whatever has happened in the world, Napalm Death will find a way to incorporate it into their music and into their lyrics. And they have been consistently going strong, like I said, for almost 4+ decades now. Of course, Napalm Death also has some absolute gems within their current generation. Of course, with albums such as Enemy of the Music Business, The Code is Red, Long Live the Code, Time Waits for No Slave, which I still consider to be the best material that they've done in this current wave, and of course with later full-length albums such as Utilitarian, and the last time we had heard something from them back in 2015 with Apex Predator Easy Meat. But yeah. This is the longest time gap we've had to wait for a Napalm Death record, because anytime Napalm Death had put out music, it had normally taken at least 1 to 2 to 3 years tops. So there's been a long level of consistency when it comes to Napalm Death putting out full-length material. But now we are in 2020. What a crazy year it's been, and of course, they dropped their 16th full-length album on us with Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism. Honestly, with the exception of one song that I had heard a little bit of, Backlash Just Because, I really didn't hear too much else of these newer singles. But I had been hearing some very divisive and mixed reactions going into it. Some people liking it like they usually would do when it comes to being fans of Napalm Death, and other people really not feeling the current direction that they're taking. And of course, if there's going to be something polarizing in the hive mind of extreme metal fans, I believe it is my sworn duty to look into things and find out for myself what the big fuss is about. And here is that fuss with the 16th Napalm Death album entitled Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism. It's 12 tracks, and it clocks in at around 42.5 minutes in length, and pretty much this is Napalm Death business as usual, but I honestly feel they are taking a lot of bold and daring risks with some of this material on this album. You would swear you're listening to something that doesn't really sound like Napalm Death, and for some people this may be a little bit of a sullying of the Napalm Death name. But I honestly think if you are into Napalm Death, especially their current generation, I would say come into this with an open mind, give it a shot, and figure out how you feel about it, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that leaves you lingering with questions as to what Napalm Death were thinking when they were making this album and what they intend to do going forward into the future. honestly, this album exceeded my expectations and a great deal more. This album starts off fast, mean, and aggressive, like any Napalm Death normally would start, with the song Fuck the Factoid, and then later on with songs like Contagion, Invigorating Clutch, and Zero Gravitas Chamber. Just some absolute insanity going on here. Of course, one thing that makes Napalm Death stand out are the guitar riffs, and I think these riffs are just absolutely awesome. A lot of grit, a lot of crunch, a lot of attention to detail with these riffs going on here, and it's very, very crazy. And there's even stuff on here that doesn't really verge into the more metal or grind sorts of territories. You almost get a little bit of a industrial post-punk edge on certain tracks, like take the track Joie de ne pas vivre. Sorry if I butcher that, but I'm almost sensing a little bit of an industrial edge with that song. Same with songs like Amoral and A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen. You almost get into post-punk, Killing Joke, Swan sort of territory. That was the one takeaway I heard from most people when it came to some of these newer Napalm Death songs, is that they had a little bit of a Killing Joke, Swans feel to them. And they're absolutely right on the money with that, because I definitely do hear that on some of these newer songs as far as this some of these musical compositions go. But these riffs are killer nonetheless, whether it's grind related or death metal related or even black metal-esque in certain spots with Fuck the Factoid. I definitely appreciate the diversity going on here with these guitar riffs. The bass work on here is phenomenal. Of course, Shane Embry doing his thing, being a great bass player, and just delivering some very heavyweight, heavy-tinged bass tones throughout this entire album. This is a very, very well done and well-mixed bass performance. I definitely love hearing him do his thing and do the bass work justice. When it comes to the drumming, I don't know how Dan Herrera still sounds and is able to blast his ass off the way that he does here, because his drum performance is just fantastic. He definitely knows how to keep a strong and steady pace throughout, and definitely can be seen as an inspiration in many more ways than one here with his drum performance. Whether it be fast fills or blast beats or just doing some more experimental and creative stuff, like once again with the songs Amoral and A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen, I definitely appreciate Dan Herrera's drum performance here, and I definitely can see why he's been up and at it with this band for so many decades now. He is a top-notch drummer and one of the best in the business. And when it comes to the vocals, of course, if you know Barney, you know how he sounds. He sounds mad, he sounds angry, he sounds pissed, he sounds like he's had it up to here with everyone's shit. And that's the type of vibe and energy I get from his vocal performance here. Of course, you can easily tell his enunciations, his wordplay, his delivery, his anger and aggression is in full force here. And once again, going back to the experimental stuff with Joie de ne pas vivre, Amoral, and A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen, you almost get that industrial post-punk-esque sort of quality with his vocals. Of course, you get the sung hooks in certain songs every now and then, like let's say Contagion, such a catchy hook on there right there. But again, with Amoral and A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen, I definitely like what Barney is doing here. Of course, he's done stuff like this before, but I definitely think he's going full on daring and risky here with these vocal performances on this album. So overall, I definitely like this one more than I did Apex Predator Easy Meat. I don't know if I liked it more than I did, let's say, Utilitarian or Time Waits for No Slave, but I definitely think this is a strong and interesting album in the Napalm Death discography. Like I said, if you are into this band's current generation of sound, I definitely would say give this a shot and think for yourself about what you think about it, how you feel about it, because I know this is going to be quite an interesting and polarizing album for any extreme metal listener. But it's just Napalm Death business as usual. There's just taking a little bit more risks this time around, and for me, I feel these risks have paid off. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Fuck the Factoid, Backlash Just Because, Contagion, Zero Gravitas Chamber, Amoral, and the closing track, A Belly Full of Salt and Spleen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box. This is how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you some links to some songs that are currently available to stream on YouTube. YouTube. I will also link you to where you can purchase physical copies. To the best of my knowledge, this is available as a CD and a 12-inch vinyl. There's also a bonus edition of this with 3 bonus tracks, and it's available in a physical special edition CD, and this is also available to stream digitally. You got some Sonic Youth and Rudimentary Peni covers, and there's a song called Feral Carve Up, which I think is a pretty nice bonus track. But again, the album is Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism by Napalm Death. This is released on Century Media Records. Definitely check this one out if you're interested in it. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Very solid Napalm Death record. Definitely one of the better ones in their current generation. So if you've happened to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Napalm Death releases. Or any of you guys into Napalm Death, definitely let me know. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Army Ho out.